The Pentagon is a symbol of our country's strength, but how secure is its computer system? The DoD wants to limit the access of foreign workers to its computers. Is this unfair or a legitimate step toward heightened security? Hello and welcome to Silicon Spin. I'm Adam Lashinsky of Fortune magazine, sitting in for John C. Dvorak. The U.S. IT industry relies heavily on foreign skilled workers holding H-1B visas. From tech companies to the government, there are more than 100,000 of these visas issued each year. Now a recent proposed policy could limit computer access by foreign workers in the government's biggest agency. As Erica Hill tells us, the Department of Defense is considering some big changes.
President Bush was very clear after September 11th that the reaction of the American people should not be and would not be xenophobia, negative reaction to foreigners, and yet this somewhat smells of that.
The Defense Department wants to broaden restrictions on foreign IT workers, keeping them away from unclassified but sensitive computer projects, including email and payroll systems, writing software, and tracking supplies. The move, intended to heighten security at the Pentagon, is drawing a lot of attention and criticism.
Robert Hansen, a U.S. citizen, a spy who cost the United States greatly. Timothy McVeigh, a U.S. citizen, a horrible terrorist who took the lives of a couple of hundred people in the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. And yet we have many non-U.S. citizens who contribute every day, both in the U.S. and abroad, to our national security.
Proponents of the plan believe computer security is too lax in the government and that unemployed U.S. citizens would benefit from the job openings. Others argue foreign IT workers are key for day-to-day operations, and taking them away would be costly.
If we were to systematically exclude all non-citizens, many of the required jobs would go unfilled.
Critics, including Cybersecurity Director Richard Clark, suggest alternative solutions, like keystroke monitoring software or background checks of non-citizens.
We're talking about the proposal that would force foreigners to log off of the Department of Defense computer network. What do you think? If you have questions or comments, give us a call at 1-888-989-7879 or email us at siliconspin@techtv.com. You can also take our viewer poll. Today we ask, should the Pentagon ban foreign IT workers? Head to siliconspin.com to answer that question. All right, let's introduce today's guests, both joining us in our Washington, D.C. Bureau. Jeff Landy, Vice President of the IT Services Division at the Information Technology Association of America. He is a lobbyist for the IT services firms. And Jack Martin, Special Projects Director for the Federation for American Immigration Reform, or FAIR. He formerly served as Research Director of the Center for Immigration Studies. Jack, let's start with you. Why do you support the Department of Defense in its proposal?
Well, we've always had a restriction to Americans only with regard to classified information and particularly sensitive information. What has happened is the perception of how vulnerable the operation systems of the military are to the technology system they have in place has suddenly struck home. And they're recognizing the fact that they really ought to restrict these very sensitive jobs that could, in effect, bring down our military's capability to operate if they crashed to Americans only. And I don't want to impugn foreign workers in general, but the fact simply is that people who have allegiances to other country and have families living abroad are much more subject to possible persuasion to work for the enemies of the country, whether they're a terrorist or another organization.
Is there any evidence that there have been any problems so far with non-U.S. nationals compromising the Department of Defense security network or other government networks?
Not that I know of.
Okay, then why before we get to Jeff Landy, should we stop with the Department of Defense? Are there other agencies where non-U.S. nationals should be kicked out, essentially?
In fact, we already have this type of restriction in place in various other operations. It's in effect in the Justice Department. It's in effect in part of the Treasury Department already, and has been for some time.
Well, all right, Jeff, we've got plenty of time to explore this issue in depth. Why don't you give me your overview? Why are you against this policy?
Well, we're not necessarily against this policy. What we're arguing is this is a very significant change in Pentagon policy, and it needs to be thought about in a careful manner and an open manner. There needs to be a thorough risk assessment, and there should be an open and public discussion of this change. As you heard in the opening, and as you just heard from my colleague, the problems haven't been, in recent years, from non-citizens. Some of the most dangerous security breaches in this country have come from citizens themselves. And you have Dick Clark, the president's cyber czar, arguing against this policy too. The concern is not where a person is born, and it's not an issue about H-1Bs. The issue is making sure that the Defense Department and other government agencies have the personnel that they need to ensure the security of the country and to perform the functions that are necessary. Now, with regard to that, citizenship takes 5 years for somebody before they can even apply for it. So you have many green card holders, other visa holders, and other non-citizens who are participating in the defense of our country and working for the companies who are contracting with the Defense Department. If you suddenly take away those individuals, you're going to leave gaping holes in our ability to develop the software and the IT necessary for these agencies. And from the policy directive thus far, it is not clear whether we're just talking about facilities on the U.S. shores or if we're talking about military installations run by the U.S. throughout the world.
All right, excellent.
Especially if you move to some of those international facilities.
Right. All right, Jeff, hold that thought. We're going to take a break. Remember, we want to hear from you. If you have questions or comments, give us a call at 1-888-989-7879 or email us at siliconspin@techtv.com. You also can take our viewer poll, should the Pentagon ban foreign IT workers. Head to siliconspin.com to answer that question. And coming up, how former President Clinton could be to blame.
Coming this April to Tech TV. For the first time on television, Tech TV's 2002 Technology Festival. A month of amazing television about cool technology and how it's impacting your life. And what's cooler than winning free stuff? That's right. All month long, we're giving away the coolest high-tech gadgets around in Tech TV's Technology Festival Great Gadget Giveaway, sponsored by Dell. It's your chance to win Dell flat panel monitors, Nikon digital cameras, Palm handheld PDAs, and HP printers. And all you have to do is watch Tech TV to win.
Oh my God!
Amazing prizes, amazing television. The Tech TV Great Gadget Giveaway is brought to you by Dell. It's all part of Tech TV's 2002 Technology Festival, coming this April, only on Tech TV.
Your 401k. Time was, you never had to think about it. So when you changed jobs, you just assumed it was safe. Not so anymore. Roll over your 401k retirement savings to Morgan Stanley, and a financial advisor will guide you through a unique review process to help ensure that when you need your nest egg, it will still be there.
Change the face of digital photography with the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world.
Sign up for MSN. Use it to join carpooling group. And send email. Pick you up at 7. Use it to get instant messages. valid. Volume 6.
Want a great alternative to AOL? Microsoft Technology makes MSN more useful every day. Call now to sign up.
At Conoco, our speed and agility allow us to move freely in a competitive and constantly changing environment, which enables us to take advantage of any opportunity. Conoco. Think big, move fast.
President Clinton raised the cap of H-1B visas to 195,000 before he left office. The news thrilled tech companies who rely heavily on this workforce, while it's unclear just how many H-1B visa holders work at the Pentagon. Jeff, what effect would losing these workers have? And why don't you also finish the point you were making before the break about international facilities, please?
Well, there are two things. One, if we're going over...
We'll go to Jeff Landy first.
Looking at offshore
I think the question was to me, wasn't it, Jeff?
No, actually, it is to Jeff, if you would. Go ahead, Jeff Landy.
If we're looking at offshore military installations, too, the effect could potentially be devastating. So there really does need to be a clear assessment of what that impact would be. With regard to the H-1B workforce, most of those workers are not used in defense capacities. So that's not what this issue is about. This issue is about whether there should be non-citizens allowed to work in military installations for sensitive projects. So really is separate and distinct from H-1Bs, and we should not confuse the two.
Jack, I did send the question to Jeff, but please, go ahead. What effect would this have on the workforce itself?
Well, there may be a transitionary period, but it shouldn't have really a very great effect, I wouldn't think. Contrary to the information that ITAA has been putting out for a long period of time, there is no reliable information that there is any sort of a shortage of workers in high tech, and we have a lot of information, a lot of contacts that come into us from unemployed high-tech workers who are resenting the fact that they have lost their jobs at the same time that their employers are hiring H-1B workers.
Let me interject with just give you some facts, and then, Jeff, you can answer them. In 2001, there were 342,000 applications for H-1B visas, which was up about 14% from the previous year. There were 163,000 issued. So there's some dispute about the facts, Jeff.
Well,
excuse me, Jeff. Let's just have Jeff answer that. Yeah.
The fact is that nobody knows how many H-1B workers are in the United States at any one time. It's really a disgrace that nobody keeps that type of information. Nobody has any idea how many of them may be unemployed and still in the country, or how many have gone back home, because that information simply isn't kept. But the fact of the matter is that the heavy employment of H-1Bs into the country has kept down wage raises for people working in that sector. And in effect, what will happen over time is it will discourage Americans from wanting to go into careers in high tech because of the fact that there will be higher salaries than other professions.
Jeff, plenty of fodder there?
Well, actually, the H-1B issue is an old issue, and I think that Fair's positions on this have been thoroughly discredited. You've seen Congress, the Commerce Department, most academic institutions, and all of the credible think tanks come out in favor of this increase that happened. And you've seen the number of H-1Bs used sharply decrease in the past year as the economy has slowed down. So that shows that the program is being used.
But is there any data, to Jack's point, is there data on how many people are actually using them, how many have left, how many remain, etc.?
Oh, well, there's certainly data in terms of how many people come over. INS and the State Department have not done an adequate job tracking departures. And ITAA, our member companies, and the high-tech industry as a whole are firmly behind improving those detection measures to track when they come in and when they leave. INS has been problematic in terms of their numbers from the get-go.
Okay.
They've made improvements, and they need to make better.
Okay, good. When we come back, are there better ways to increase computer security at the Pentagon? That's next.
pumping up your game on the hard court, just ahead on Sports Tech.
Sports Tech is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
You must all break out of your humdrum existences. The atom becomes the flower, becomes the ox, becomes the man. We all must change. The world needs change. You, sir, you must change.
Chevy Avalanche, the only vehicle that changes from an SUV to a pickup. There's also a Motor Trend's 2002 Truck of the Year.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Chevy Avalanche, like a rock.
Pickup basketball is a contact sport, and the ball can take a beating as well. Rough conditions on an outdoor court can quickly knock the air out of balls, and a ball pump isn't always available. That's when the Spalding Infusion basketball will come in handy. You'll never search for the elusive pump and needle again because the pump is actually inside the ball. Just twist and lift the valve with your finger, and out pops a miniature plunger. Just like a regular hand pump, you just pump the plunger up and down, and the ball is properly inflated within seconds, and you never leave the court. When it's not in use, the pump is barely visible and doesn't affect the ball's bounce and feel. And whether you prefer the rough stuff or a friendly game at the gym, the regulation-sized infusion is suitable for either indoor or outdoor play.
Best ball you can buy out there. It's a great ball. Pretty good ball.
Pump up your game with Infusion.
Honey, how much money did the contractor say he needed?
$7,500.
What if getting money from your home equity was this painless? Well, thanks to Ditech.com, it may be. Just log on or call 1-800-71-FIXED now. Apply to refinance and get cash out for home improvements or anything else. We'll arrange an appraiser, notary, and even deliver to your door. Ditech.com, your mortgage solution delivered.
Welcome back. We're discussing how foreign skilled workers may be banned from performing certain computer projects at the Pentagon. Critics of this move claim there are better ways to increase security, like keystroke logging software, for example. Jeff, what do you think the best way to handle this problem is, if in fact we have a problem?
Well, I think that whether we have a problem or not, security does have to be everyone's utmost concern. And the Pentagon really does have to do whatever is necessary to achieve that. Now, with regard to whether this is the way to go, picking up on what you just said, whether it's keystroke tracking software or some other program, through thorough background checks, adequate infrastructure security measures, and others, you can really get to the root cause. But the Pentagon has to take the necessary steps to hold hearings and do the risk assessment to identify the way to solve this problem.
I suppose, Jack, couldn't the Pentagon simply change the nature of classified information? If it made more information, for example, access to the network, classified, wouldn't that solve this problem from a policy perspective?
Well, it would eliminate the discussion as to whether it was sensitive or not, but it seems to me maybe some of the solution is, if the work really is not sensitive, farming more of that work off-site, let contractors do it off-site, and then bring it in as a finished product, rather than having foreign workers entering into areas that are vulnerable.
Yeah, but in today's networks, is there really a difference between on-site and off-site if the contract workers have access to the network, for example?
Well, you certainly can set up firewalls and screening in order to eliminate some of those problems.
Jeff?
Well, we're not talking about a geographic issue here. We're talking about a project-based system where they want to exclude non-citizens from certain types of projects. And it's a vast expansion from what they or any other agency currently have. And that could be a real problem and ultimately undermine the very security that they're attempting to reinforce and strengthen.
All right, we'd like to get our viewers involved. And Taylor, hello.
Hi, Adam. Good to see you.
Good to see you. We have a question from email.
Ron. He has a comment. He says, it's more likely the administration hopes to avoid criticism for the very real problem of thousands of IT workers on Greenspan vacations, effectively replaced by H-1B workers who are exploited at low wages and unpaid overtime at U.S. high-tech companies. That is a very long sentence, Adam.
I don't know what a Greenspan vacation is, but Jack, you're nodding your head.
The point is with the downturn in the economy, that we know that many people are being laid off from tech jobs. What we don't know is how many H-1Bs and foreign workers are being kept on when American workers are being laid off. We know that there are incentives for employers to hold on to their H-1B workers because often they can be hired at lower salaries and they tend to be much more complacent because they're hoping to be able to get a green card.
Well, actually, I've heard that argument about H-1Bs being lower-cost employees for years, but given the affidavits that the firms have to sign with the Commerce Department, they have to pay the going rate in the geographic area.
But the going rate is not defined in terms of real wages. They are old wage surveys, and there's a 5% fudge factor, which allows them to pay 5% less.
Well, that's not what the Commerce Department says, and our firms, I know, are paying what they do for H-1Bs to the local workers as well. But that being said, again, this is not about H-1Bs, and with regard to the H-1B program itself, you've seen a sharp decrease in the numbers being used as the economy has turned down.
All right, let's go to one more email, please.
Hi there. Okay, this one's from Alan, who says, if the Pentagon is really serious about security, then maybe they should do better background searches and even regular updates of people they employ.
Well, I think this gets to the question, Jack, that I was asking earlier. What's your take on that? Why don't they just improve the way they screen the people who are working for them rather than get into an issue of foreigners versus non-foreigners?
Well, they do. They should be screening them as a matter of course. But the point is that a person who does not have U.S. citizenship, a person who has family abroad, is much more vulnerable to pressure to cooperate with somebody who's trying to do damage to the country.
Jeff, that sounds like an emotional statement to me. I mean, is there any way to prove that?
Well,
I don't think...
Go ahead, Jeff, first, please.
Okay, a little confusion between Jeff and Jack here.
I guess so. Jeff Landy, please.
I think that is an emotional statement. There's no definitive proof, especially when you consider the fact that the most egregious breaches in U.S. security with regard to the intelligence forces have come from U.S. citizens in the past decade. Now, U.S. citizens are, as a whole, wonderful workers. They are the heart and soul of this country and the Defense Department. But at the same time, non-citizens have contributed greatly, and the country benefits from that, and the national security is vastly strengthened.
Hey, Jack, I don't know if I'm remembering my history right, but weren't there a goodly number of foreigners working on the Manhattan Project?
Yes. There were, and we can go back to the founding of our missile defense, of our missile system, as well as our entire rocket program.
The fact is that our information technology has made systems a little bit more fragile than they were back in the days of the Manhattan Project.
And so we need to be more concerned now than we were at a time like that when we were dealing with the beginning of atomic energy.
That's right. If we have a crash of operational systems, the military operations can be shut down entirely.
All right, thank you. When we come back, why is there such a shortage of IT workers in the United States? That's next.
Harry, don't miss the big wireless sale at Radio Shack!
I swear I heard Terry.
Yes, Howie, you clearly heard Terry. Now get a clear digital Sprint PCS phone by Samsung. The N200 is just $99.99 after a $50 Sprint PCS mail-in rebate. Then, save another $50 only at Radio Shack. Get 4,000 clear wireless minutes for only $39.99 a month.
I just love it when I get into his head.
The Sprint store at Radio Shack.
Think of e-business as a game. You got players, you got management. You got opponents who don't always play by the rules. This game takes strategy and the ability to move that metaphorical ball that is information with more money on the line than in any other game that's ever been played. E-business isn't just a game, it's the game. So if you're going to play, play to win.
I don't think we should see each other anymore. It's the rash, isn't it? Listen, the doctor said it's just temporary.
No. It's your website. I need more content than that.
Our customers expect a lot from a website. Because at Progressive.com, you can get our price for auto insurance and the rates for up to 3 leading competitors.
We want you to save money, even if it's not with us.
You could save hundreds. Call Progressive today.
America is still strong, and we salute the backbone of our economy, the independent small business owner. Now you can gain independence, make big money, and have the time to enjoy it. Call Teleking Communications Corporation, 1-800-207-7677, and discover an incredible offer to run your own wholesale distribution business. This high-profit opportunity is the American dream. Be your own boss, work part-time or full-time, and earn big money with no direct selling on your part. Get all the facts now on how you can take advantage of this turnkey operation. Availability in your area may be limited, so call today. Teleking will help you increase your income and give you the freedom to enjoy the things that make America great. Operators are standing by to help you. The call is free, and there's no obligation. Take charge of your life, earn big money, and have the time to enjoy it all. Teleking. For your free brochure and video, call 1-800-207-7677 now.
The entire hosting department quit. They hit the lottery. They won $2.3 million each. Wiggins, too? Wiggins wasn't in on it, so he can still run things for us.
Need help with your IT outsourcing?
Morning, Wiggins.
EDF. IT outsourcing solved.
Welcome back. The perceived lack of American workers to do complicated computing tasks raises a big question. Why aren't there enough skilled U.S. workers? So, Jack, settle us for us, please. Are there or aren't there enough?
Well, the way you ask the question begs it. We don't think that there is any indication of the fact that there is a serious shortage, and the proof of that basically is wage levels. That if there were a serious shortage, then wages would be going up dramatically in order to attract more people into that area, and that simply hasn't happened. That starting salaries for recent graduates in high tech have not changed any more than they have for graduates in the social sciences, which is a very clear indication of the fact that there is not a serious shortage.
Jeff, the members of the dues-paying members of your organization obviously feel that there is a shortage. What kind of proof can you put on that?
Well, it's not only the dues-paying members of my association, it's the companies throughout America outside of the IT industry who rely upon this talent. Also, the National Academy of Sciences, National Science Foundation, Department of Education, the U.S. Congress, the administration, across the board. Everyone recognizes that there is a serious shortage right now. And if you look both at the labor statistics and some of the wage rates, you do see that shortage.
Jack, you're shaking your head.
The fact of the matter is you don't see the wages going up dramatically, and in effect what you are having is a depression of those wages by the high level of new entrants coming into the job market. We receive lots of information about high-tech graduates who are having to go to work for Radio Shack because they can't get a job for high-tech companies.
Jack, is it possible there's a qualitative shortage, if not a quantitative shortage? In other words, the right people aren't available.
In effect, what the National Academy of Sciences said is there could be some spot shortages, but not generally a shortage for IT workers throughout the country.
Jeff, very briefly to the qualitative point, please.
There certainly is a sharp shortage, even in this economy, for some specific skill sets. Now, it has softened across the board, but shortages do continue to exist.
Great. I'd like to thank both of you, Jeff Landy of the Information Technology Association of America and Jack Martin of the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Now let's take a look at the results of our viewer poll. Today we asked, should the Pentagon ban foreign IT workers? 72% of you said yes, and the other 28% said no. Join us tomorrow for another Silicon Spin. I'm Adam Lashinsky filling in for John C. Dvorak. Thanks for watching us.